the pre-roll rolling. But yeah, dude, feeling a little scraggly.
A little scratchy in the throat.
A little scratchy. I woke up with the biggest lug I've seen in my life. It was like big and green and like a yellow tint to it.
I had we were up kind of late, just plowing through the office last night.
Yeah.
And I had a Sprite. And it was already kind of late.
Okay.
I don't like having caffeine like late at night, just because the ritual.
Yeah.
But I like woke up and like the back of my throat was like sore, and I had like a headache. And I was like, sweet baby Jesus, I'm not drinking Sprite past like 7 p.m. ever again.
Gotta be that, man. Yeah, dude, it's a little scratchy. But we'll go ahead and get this shit crack-a-lackin' in a second. Let me get the notes posted up, and then...
the agenda.
Yeah. It was beefy. Beefy, not so much in the sense that we have a lot of stuff, but beefy in the stuff that we have to talk about.
It's beefy.
We have a lot of stuff to talk about, yeah.
It's beef within beef.
Absolutely.
Like
double beef.
Beef fed beef?
Beef with some mozzarella cheese on the side, you know?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Second City Kids Podcast, episode number 115.
115.
Yeah, we are back and sick, but it is what it is. We have a lot of shit to cover, so we're going to go ahead and get with the nitty-gritty. We're not going to bullshit around today, Gabe. You ready?
Born ready.
Absolutely. Don't pick the mic so hard next time when you do that.
I got you.
All right, so let's go. Let's get started.
All right, so are you familiar with WOOT? It's a website.
I'm familiar with the phrasing WOOT. Like, woo, woo.
Okay, yeah. So WOOT is like a flash deals website, and they have all sorts of good shit on there. And they were recently bought up by Amazon, so if you got Prime, you get free shipping from WOOT.
Oh.
So the big thing WOOT does is what they coin as a bag of crap. So it's $10, and they're all differently themed, and it's just literally what it sounds like. It's a bag of crap. You know, you get what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And so these things aren't something you buy like right now. They kind of pop up for special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And so essentially 2 weeks ago, right before Easter, they had this whole like bag of crap day where every half hour they would post like a hint on one of the sites, and it'd be like, hey, you can find this bag of crap at, here, here, and here. And like the first one to get to it would get it. So I essentially hounded this fucking hint site all day long at work, trying to get one of these bags of crap from like 10 a.m. to like 4 p.m. every half hour, refreshing it, right?
Okay.
So I finally got one at like the 2 o'clock mark. Okay, and I bought the bag of crap. It was $10.
All right.
You want to hear what was in it?
Sure, absolutely.
So we got this cool little bracelet, gave it to Maddie, was whatever. Some sticky notes. Could always use sticky notes, right?
Sure, why not?
Like a mandolin cutter. So it's like it's one of those like Tupperware boxes, but the lid is like a cutter, and it comes with all sorts of like assortments, right?
Okay.
Of like cutting and grading and shit like that. I thought it was pretty cool.
All right.
Figure, the parents will use it. Got a drawstring bag. That was okay. Got a camera bag, right? Galaxy Note 8 screen protector. A blue polo. A women's extra small, by the way, so it's not like I can even carry it. And here's why they call it the bag of crap. I got a Redskins beanie. And then I got a Raiders shirt. But wait, it's not just any regular Raiders shirt. It's an officially NFL licensed Raiders bowling shirt.
Huh.
That's genuine crap right there.
That is some pretty good crap.
I was actually pretty pleased by it. I had no idea it was my first bag of crap, and I thought it was a fun experience.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Oh, and I got like the WOOT canvas bag for shopping, which I love. I love those canvas bags. It's so good.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Does the Raiders bowling shirt work for you? Or does it fit you? I mean,
it's a large. I'm not gonna wear it.
Well, I'm asking because I want you to wear it next time we go bowling.
I'm gonna get my ass kicked. Are you kidding me? This is Chicago.
I demand to see that. Damn it! You're not getting away this time.
Oh, and I got some charcoal toothbrushes. Totally forgot to mention that. Those things are really good.
Yeah.
They're like genuinely proper. I don't think I'm gonna go back to regular toothbrushes.
Genuinely proper.
They came in like a 4-pack, and like the handle is like bamboo wood. And then like the bristles are like infused with charcoal. So when you spit it out the first time, it's like this like black goop, It looks like venom goop.
Yeah.
But damn, dude, my shit felt really good and clean after that. I love having like that post toothbrush feel.
Okay.
And that was nice and cool.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's cool. All right, Gabe. So you ready to get into this stuff?
Oh, yeah, let's talk.
So I am literally an hour and a half away from finishing the new Avengers. Avengers Endgame came out. Avengers Endgame came out on Thursday night. It has broke $1.2 billion already on opening weekend, which is
insane.
Yeah, I don't. That's
Pretty close to breaking a record.
Yeah, that's crazy on opening weekend. So I watched it. Are you planning on getting to this anytime soon?
Not in theaters, no.
Okay, so this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm going to try my best to keep it as vague as possible because it's still relatively new. We will have a full spoiler review for something else coming up later in the docket, but I'll try to keep it as vague as possible. So, like I said, caught it this morning. Super excited, super amped. The theater was jam-packed, obviously. And dude, just right off the bat, it sets you right into the world that you're in, right? It throws you right in, right? And you mentioned this on a previous pod. You're like, man, that trailer showed me way more than I wanted to see. There's nothing that trailer. Okay, nothing outside of the first act exists in that trailer. Everything that we saw in the trailer is inside the first act. Everything else is stuff that you did not anticipate. Everything is a bit of a surprise because it kind of set me for a loop a little bit. I was expecting a kind of a different kind of movie, and like I said, what we saw from the trailer, we anticipated that was going to be like the bulk of the film. Not at all. Like I said, it was probably within the first 45 minutes is everything that we saw within the trailer itself. It's an ensemble cast, right? So there's a lot of fucking moving parts to this whole fucking thing, right? Like I said, kind of try to keep it vague because it's kind of hard. So, like I said, it puts you right into the world. There's like kind of like an early ending that you think you're like, what the fuck? What is this about? And it kind of sets you up for a fucking journey, man. There's just a lot of shit in here, man. I like the evolution of Hawkeye. I think he was great. He went full Ronin. Obviously, because his family disappeared, so he's kind of pissed. Bruce Banner, he was awesome. The Hulk is like they kind of blend these two things together. Moving forward with that, Thor is a hoot. He's hysterical in this movie. It's kind of an interesting development for his character. It's kind of unlike something that we've seen of him. I'm just gonna give Chris Hemsworth all the love in the world for kind of pulling off that kind of look and kind of vibe. Scarlett Johansson, everybody played their role, man. RDJ did a great job as Iron Man, as he always does. Chris Evans shaving that beautiful beard, goddamn him. Like I said, it's not what you expect. There's a lot of moving parts to it, and that the setup for it, the build, it all like comes to this beautiful crescendo of a moment that is just like the greatest thing that you've ever seen, the best superhero throwdown fight of all time. It makes kind of what we saw in Civil War look like a argument for two kids in the schoolyard kind of a situation compared to what we see at the very end. Josh Brolin, a fantastic villain. He's super menacing. Did a great job with that. There's a lot of characters that they focus on that haven't really got the opportunity to shine. Like I said, Hawkeye being one of them. Nebula gets her moment to shine too. These cider characters you haven't really got a chance to see them really do stuff. They give them some love and attention. And everybody did a great job. And dude, like I said, I don't know what else to say other than
how is it in the 11-year span? Because I feel like I've been hearing a lot of people say I've waited 11 years for this. First of all, no, because 11 years ago you didn't know this was going to be a whole massive franchise.
Yeah.
But in the span of essentially a decade and covering a good chunk of the 2010s, really, how is this in comparison to that aspect?
I think it is the most beautiful way they could have ended it. It is, the ending is just so fucking well done. It's very emotional. You feel it. And yes and no about what you said, because obviously, like you said, we didn't know this thing was going to take over the fucking world, right? No, I don't think anybody really anticipated it. There was the hope that one day, these things will be mildly interesting to the vast majority of people, right?
Culturally acceptable.
Yeah, because it wasn't back in the day, right? But I think when we first saw the first Iron Man, we're like, okay, one day Civil War, one day this, one day that, one day the Infinity War, and here we are at the very end of it, and it's weird, man, because it's hard to see what's next because of kind of the way it ended. And I think for the first time ever, they didn't have a post-credit scene. There's no post-credit scene at all in this.
The first time in 11 years.
Yeah. So It really feels like an end of something, the end of a story. This, like you said, this 11-year, 22 movie saga. All these things that were leading to this ultimate point, the apex of it all, and it's over. It's over from that aspect. The only thing we got lined up after this is Spider-Man, and after that,
2020.
No, Spider-Man comes out in July, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit.
Yeah.
So Disney's still gonna dominate the box office this year because we got Infinity War, obviously, Spider-Man, and then we get Star Wars towards the end.
Yep, absolutely.
Damn, they're just gonna clean house.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think honestly, dude, I don't think they need anything else. I mean, obviously, Star Wars is going to do fucking big box office because it's Star Wars, so it's going to. I mean, granted, we can't really say that about.
Well, that's the end of a saga too.
Yep. So I guess we'll see what that looks like moving forward. But for me, as far as an experience, bro, I laughed, I cried. There was moments of, like I said, great emotion, great story arcs, great stories, great perspective on these heroes that are normally unrelatable. You could relate to them as a person, as people, because in this scenario, they lost, right? They lost. It was over. They lost, and they tried to find a way to correct that along the way. That's some clever writing because there are some things that they kind of had to tiptoe around in order for it to make sense.
The brothers do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
So brothers, and because they've been at the helm of 4 movies now, 4 of the bigger movies.
I think so. Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive. And not to loop this back around to Star Wars, but it's a lot easier when there's contingency and consistency between the bigger biopics. Well, not a biopic, but bigger movies.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to kind of frame everything in the big picture scope.
Absolutely. I'm going to give the screenwriters credit for screenwriters for doing it. I'm going to give Kevin Feige a lot of credit because obviously he kind of stitched this thing together and had kind of, once it started to game steam, had this grand master plan of where this all was going to end up. You know what I mean? 22 movies, I'm sure, is not easy to make them all feel, relevant.
What other 22 cohesive movies can you think of?
No, you can't.
You can't even say that about Bond.
You can't. No, you can't.
And I think that's one of the other franchises that comes close.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're at 26 now?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it's hard to.
And no more than 4 or 5. No, 4 in a row. No more than 4 in a row are cohesive.
Yeah.
We're about to break that with the next one.
Some of them even with the same actor in it, there's no.
Yeah, it's
bleeding.
like a soft reboot.
Yeah, there's no bleeding into it. There's no story bleeding into the other. So. Man, I mean, I'm going to give Disney and, like I said, Kevin Feige and all the actors and people involved in this whole entire process all the credit in the fucking world.
So what I'm going to ask next. What do you rate it?
I find it very hard to see another movie experience that I'm going to enjoy more this year that is including Star Wars. So I'm gonna give it an A. What's the grading scale on this again?
I mean, we could do pluses. Yeah, but it is the grading scale.
It's gonna be an A plus, man.
Yeah.
Happy. Because like I said, if you have any kind of investment towards these characters in the last 11 years, you're gonna feel it and you're gonna love it. Saw Stan Lee's final cameo, obviously. Man,
brutal.
Yeah, not brutal. I mean, they made it light and funny because that's what Stan would want, right? Now I heard a story. Now this is what the Captain Marvel cameo that he had. Within the story, I don't know if I told you this. He's reading his cameo is him reading the script as himself in Mallrats. Yeah. So he's reading. So basically, Kevin Smith broke it down. He was like, "Yeah, Feige called me. And he's like, do you have any alternate takes of Stan giving the line in Mallrats? Do you have any of that?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I do. You're not going to throw that out, right?"
Right.
Because he's like, well, by the time that they were doing the cameo for Captain Marvel, he was very weak and his delivery, he wasn't all there. You know what I mean? He was very timid and weak and didn't really have the Stan Lee delivery that we come to expect from him, right? So this cameo is funny and it's a good last laugh. I think Stan left us on a good note on this one. And yeah, sad to see that end as well. But I'm sure they're going to find some way to kind of
think about that. That man was really close to 100 years of greatness.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of sad to see him go before this 10 years of madness, these 11 years of madness that we've experienced. I'm
glad that he at least got this where it's kind of maybe not the final point, but at least the final point for now, right? Because like I said, after Spider-Man, there's nothing on the docket right now for them.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, they're going to take some time to relax and chill.
Take a year or two, really.
Yeah, and come out with something new. Something in the phase 4, I guess. Honestly, I wish they would, at this point, now that it's all said and done with these movies and phase 3, call it something else. Don't call it a phase because it's like a continuation.
Do you think they could cap at least the greater extent of superhero movies now? Or do you think they should keep trucking along? Because what they've done is this great monumental movie making feat. I'm not going to deny that. But do you think they should quit while they're ahead, or do you think they should try and set up for another 10?
I think if they're gonna move forward, it's got to be a good idea. They can't be
half-assing things.
Yeah, they can't be half-assing the ideas. If there's a reason why they're resurrecting it, it's got to be a good reason. Like I said, because right now, it's kind of hard to see what's next as far as
because I'd be perfectly fine with doing new hero origin stories or like sequels to like Captain Marvel. Venom deserves a sequel and a couple of these other sprinkles here and there. The question is, are we going to do the whole grandiose
overarching story? I don't know,
because that's the appeal of Marvel right now.
Yep.
That there's this thing that connects 22 separate movies into one existence, one universe.
Yep. Because like you said, it was all coming to a head here, and it's all over now. So I mean, like I said, it's incredibly difficult to have 22 at least decent movie to great movie, and that
I don't think there's been
a bad one.
I don't think there's been anything below like a C.
Yeah.
Like Dark World is probably my C.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Thor and Loki character growth, I think Dark World is very important in that progression, because that's kind of a low point for them.
They have like a moment about where they kind of reference Dark World. So that's good stuff, man. And they did a great job. Like I said, it's going to be very hard for me to find a better experience in the movie theater. And if you haven't seen it, get your ass in a movie theater and see it. I know you say you're gonna wait for a little bit, but I recommend it. It's going to be very hard to keep the story of this under wraps, and I want you to experience it without knowing. I want you to see it without knowing.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Darth Vader is Luke's father. You know what I mean? Like I want you to do that. So if you can catch it on a matinee and go enjoy it with your girl, and
go enjoy it on a Tuesday morning with all the old folks.
Yep, and report it back to me and let you know what you see. All right.
Good copy. So let's keep chucking along. That was a pretty solid review.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Good shit coming out of there. Let's talk Sabrina season 2. So I have not seen this yet.
So we're trucking through. It's about halfway through now. I didn't think it was possible to get any more satanic. But they found a way to get more satanic with this season. Like I said, I'm about halfway through. Man, it's a fucking great series. I just love everything about it outside of the hazy fisheye thing, which...
Yeah, this ain't a skate video, guys.
Yeah, they brought that back. But I just love the story. I think it's a great thing. Like I said, there's some shit that I can't believe that they're getting away with as far as imagery. And
So how is the story as compared to season 1 so far? Or like, how are the characters?
It's building, bro. So yeah, as stated, it's building up, and you're starting to see kind of where they're going. Like I said, I'm about halfway through, so I don't want to lean you too hard one way or another. But you could feel the stakes starting to raise a little bit.
Good copy.
There's a lot of interesting character development outside of Sabrina and her family. Her friends are getting some great development. Harvey's getting some fantastic development. There's a episode with him where it's just like, oh, like he's in it now, like he's in the shit with them, like everybody else. And like I said, some increasingly disturbing imagery.
It's good though, man. There's we spoke briefly upon the whole like violence thing and Netflix kind of catering to that, but I think it's important to kind of throw this out there, because granted, you may not agree with what this show is doing or what it's portraying, but it's important to realize that it's still out there, and it is a form of art in its own way, right?
Absolutely.
I'm just glad we're getting look back 20 years. Sabrina was a harmless family fun thing that will come on after Full House.
Yep.
And now it's something totally different, and I love it. You know?
Absolutely.
It's that's good shit. I got to catch up on it. I've been kind of slacking because, like I said, Office, and you know how that goes.
Yeah. How you feeling about The Office? Because this is your first trek through, right?
Yes, this is my first trek through, and for all those people like, what's wrong with you? Here's why. I grew up on things like Futurama, Scrubs with my TV show, Scrubs. I fucking love Scrubs, and it's still my favorite like sitcom today. I never really fucked around with Friends. I only recently watched How I Met Your Mother within the past 2 years, and now we're kind of trekking through all these TV greats, right? Oh, and I've seen Seinfeld, because if you haven't, you're like, you're insane.
Okay.
We're 7 seasons in, man, and I still feel the same about Michael. I don't particularly love him. He has some good moments, but overall, he's just like, dude, if I told you yesterday, if I'm ever in another managerial position again, I'm doing the exact opposite of everything this dude does.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I don't know whether to cringe or to laugh or to cry. And it's just this weird like conglomeration of things.
Well, that's why I think it's so fucking beautiful, because you're like, from one moment you're like, God, he's a fucking idiot. Like, God, he pisses me off. And then there's moments you're like, God damn, that was fucking funny. And holy shit, that's offensive. And holy shit, how did they get away with that? If that happened now, they get away
absolutely.
with that.
That's the big thing I've noticed, that if this show were to air right now on this day, it would not fly.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's hilarious that it's the same people on Twitter who are like, "Oh, this is offensive," are the same people who fucking love The Office.
Absolutely.
But yeah, dude, I think Dwight's kind of annoying.
Yeah,
I think he's meant to be, though. To be fair, I think Ryan's character was totally ruined, in my opinion. But I think it's because he's directing more and more of these episodes as the thing goes on.
Absolutely,
I think that's why. Bryan Cranston directed an episode. Man, this thing has kind of a like Ricky Gervais. There's like this kind of rotating cast of directing episodes, and I think it's neat.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it overall. I'll give you a better opinion once I'm done with it.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like I'm kind of nitpicking the flower right now. You know, I'm pulling off the thorns and the leaves, but sometimes you got to appreciate the rose as a whole.
So far, are you enjoying the hype, though? Or do you see the hype? Are you with the hype?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I understand why it has a following.
Absolutely.
And I'm starting to get all the jokes and the memes now. So I think that's good enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you shouldn't watch the show for the show. You should watch the show for the memes.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. Because Adriana's going through her second walkthrough. I said it. Oh, I'm like, we should go through The Office again. She's like, yeah, let's totally do it. And next thing you know, I'm laying next to her one night and hear The Office theme. I'm like, are you fucking going through it without me? She's fucking evil, man.
I can definitely see it being one of those comfort shows that you kind of always are having a watch through of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's always kind of Futurama or Scrubs for me. I always have one of those going on at any point. And it's just kind of, well, you can't decide on what to watch. You fucking throw it on. Yeah, you've seen this episode 20 times, but so what? It's great.
Absolutely. That's another. Bob's Burgers is that show for me. Like, my wife loves it. I enjoy it, and there's some just fucking episodes that I could literally watch over and over again of Bob's Burgers. I know you're not super high on it, but I love it. And yeah, The Office is one of those shows, man. There's just moments in there I'm just like, geez.
It's like comfort food,
Yeah. You're like, Jesus Christ.
You always come crawling back.
Absolutely. So, next on the agenda. So, there's a show on Viceland, all right? Obviously, Viceland.
I love Viceland.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good TV channel. It's called Dark Side of the Ring. And essentially what this does is it takes stories from professional wrestling, real-life events that actually happened, and explaining kind of the background information to it. One of the first episodes that I saw was the murder of Bruiser Brody, an actual wrestler who was murdered in a shower in Puerto Rico. And basically it breaks down how his murder got away with it. Not only did he get away with it, he wrestled that night that he murdered somebody.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you the whole background and just a lot of stuff in there that you're just like, oh, man, like, how the fuck did that happen? And kind of the corruption of Puerto Rico as a whole, and kind of like, because one of the witnesses, they're like, okay, well, we're going to subpoena you and have you come back once the trial happens. He didn't get his court order to come back until after the trial already happened. Just shit like the cover up of it all. Just kind of a sad story about this guy who lived this character, but on the outside of it, he was like a really nice guy and a family man and all that stuff. But inside his world, he was this fucking violent wrestler and just over the top shit. So they had that story. They had
Chris Jericho up on there, and Eddie Guerrero.
No. That I'm sure that's gonna come up the pipe right now. They did the Montreal Screwjob with Bret Hart, which is another kind of controversial thing that happened. They had the Macho Man Elizabeth story, because how that thing kind of happened was very tragic. How Elizabeth died and then Macho Man died, and it was all a fucked up thing. They have the Von Erichs. I don't know if you know who they are, but essentially what they were was a wrestling family. Like, they're all brothers, and like there was like 7 of them, and like 6 of them have killed themselves. And there's only like 1 remaining.
Holy shit.
Yeah, just like this whole thing. And like I said, it's very interesting to me because I'm a big wrestling fan, and I love kind of knowing some of the background information on it. Some of the interviews on it are fucking hysterical. There's a guy I'm going to show you after the fact who was on one of them, and he was just talking like some grade A shit about one of the other guys that was on the show. I'll show you as we go along. But if you have a passing interest in wrestling, at the very least, you'll understand the stories because they're based in reality. You know what I mean? So if you ever get the opportunity to check that out, I would. I think it's a tremendously fascinating, and I love it. It's a great show.
Very good copy, sir. I think even for documentary's sake, if you enjoy a good documentary, because I have a passing interest in wrestling, as you mentioned, but I have a pretty good interest in documentaries.
Absolutely.
And shit like that.
It's good stuff, and I would recommend it for you.
Good stuff. Let's talk some gaming. So we got some PS5 leaks the other week.
Yeah.
We had to skip because last week was Easter.
I think it's the second year in a row we skipped Easter, by the way. I put that together.
Yeah.
Huh.
So some pretty impressive stuff, because you mentioned it to me. You sent me the article, and I read through it. I was like, holy shit, this is like gaming PC stuff. So it's using a Ryzen CPU, which is fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
It's like the best bang for your buck you get if you're a PC gamer. And then it's using the AMD Navi 3000 architecture for the graphics processing unit, which is insane to me, because now you took In addition to that, it's also supposed to have a solid state drive. I don't know if you saw that. So the Spider-Man boot time went from like 10 seconds to like 0.8.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Solid state drives are the way to go. This shit, people knew 10 years ago that solid state drives are going to take over, but they've become so cheap that you can have it in your PlayStation.
What was the other option?
In regards to what? Like a mechanical spinning hard drive.
Oh, okay.
Those things are dirt cheap. Like I said, I got you a 3 terabyte hard drive for $30.
Yeah.
But like a 3 terabyte solid state drive is going to give you $300. And now there's something even faster, an M.2 drive, which is, insanity all on its own.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're at this point where maybe now consoles have a fighting chance. and granted, well, no, hear me out, right?
Is that the elitist computer douchebag?
I don't mean to sound like that, but like there was always this kind of like gap.
Yeah,
there's always been this gap.
Nope.
But now, and I think now is the most prevalent time to bring this up with the Steam store and Epic store kind of mayhem that's going on right now. That was like a joke for console peasants 5-10 years ago, where it's like, oh, imagine having like exclusives. But now the PC guys are in that zone too. And now with this, if these leaks are true, these Sony PS5 leaks are true, there's gonna be just this gap is gonna be so much lessened. You know, there's still gonna be your difference between your high end systems and your base PS5. But regardless, it is insane the improvements we're making. How when this came out, and what was it, 2012, 2013?
14
when this came out. You remember how good this shit looked?
Yeah.
And then you got accustomed to it, and now it's like, oh, man. But we're kind of have that amazement once more when the 5 comes out. And I'm excited, because this is properly good hardware talk.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that shit.
Yeah.
So
obviously Gabe knows more about the infrastructure of these things better than I, because he's in the field of it. But yeah, man, I'm intrigued. Like I said, we mentioned this previously. I'm so baffled that this cycle's coming to an end already. It just blows my fucking mind.
You know what I think it is? I think because when we were younger and there's the 6th gen cycle, I would say we were kind of one in the front line for, because that came out when we were when we still remember. You know? Because when the PS1 was out, I remember my PS1. I don't remember it dropping. I don't remember it coming to an end. I just remember everybody eventually got a PS2 or an Xbox.
Yeah.
That was the kind of the transition. There was none of this generational, okay, we're moving on, or we're stopping support. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
But for Gen 6, I feel like we felt that it was so long because, like I said, one, we were there for the forefront. We were there in the trenches for all the good stuff and all the crap stuff in between. And then 3, we were right there 5 years ago when this shit got dropped.
Yeah.
And I feel that's why it felt so long, because we just experienced a good chunk, maybe like 60% of everything good that those 6th gen consoles had to offer. And that's a massive quantity of games and time devoted, if you think about it,
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because like when the 4 came out, it is actually, like, from what I recall, the first console that I had day one. Because I'm pretty sure I got the PlayStation after the fact, like maybe a couple months down the line.
Yeah.
This was the first console I got day one, because I had my own money, I had my own job, la la la.
It was a priority.
Yeah, it was a priority to me. So let's see. I mean, I'm looking forward to the future, because I think it's gonna be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how smooth the transition from 4 to 5 is gonna be. Well, from 7th to 8th gen consoles currently. You know me, I might wait a little for price drops and smooth it over.
Nice.
But I'm just kind of curious to see when support and game developers officially stop for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Like I said, this isn't going to be this year. It's not going to be next year, but it's going to be down the line, man.
Yep, it's coming along faster than we expect. And
there's going to be a day when you can't buy a new PS4 game anymore.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
No, that's a fact. And
I remember hitting that day for 5th gen for the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
And I remember hitting it for the 6th gen. And now it's coming up too.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't think we knew that this thing was working, obviously, but these things are in developers' hands already. I don't think anybody really anticipated that. You know what I mean?
Well, because you said they have toolkits for it out there.
Yeah.
So there's clearly some development in progress.
Absolutely.
And they said nothing this year, but I'm imagining if Sony decides to do E3 2020, they're going to knock it out of the fucking park.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, like we said, it was a big dick move to not go to E3 where there's peace amongst gamers, for once, for one weekend.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. And they decided not to go. It was like the intro to Avatar. It's like the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so let's move it along. So this is something I saw in passing.
Yes, the Capcom arcade. I actually saw this too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
but it's pretty expensive.
Absolutely.
It's what, 12 games, 16 games?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. But I guess the novelty of it is you get the full fight pad experience.
Mm-hmm.
You get the full fight stick, essentially. If you've been in arcades, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You get the classic joy handle and the classic clicky buttons in the layout, and that's cool. But here's the thing. It's $200 odd, 200 and some change. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Why would you not get an emulator and get a fight stick for, I don't know, maybe $150?
Yeah.
Maybe less if you're buying used.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my thing. We spoke about this whole retro revolution in consoles and how they're coming back and how Nintendo did it well and how the PS1 not so well.
Yep.
And I think this is going to fall in that gray line where your hardcore Capcom people, because my buddy's a hardcore Capcom fan, and he said he does not want it.
Is it? I mean, I get like Nintendo doing it, and I get the PlayStation too. But is Capcom? I mean, granted, big company, big deal, everybody loves them. But is it kind of a niche thing? Isn't this kind of like an isolated incident with Capcom and kind of how their size and how it looks
they've
right
got
now?
a lot of properties. They've got like Mega Man, and of course, a lot of bigger properties. But I just think that this market size, it's either one, a lot bigger than we think, because you and I have never like super delved into Capcom like that, or it's a lot smaller than we're assuming it to be. It's going to be one of those two. You know what I'm saying?
I guess the sales of the thing will tell us, huh?
Here's my thing, man. If it was $100, I might even be inclined to get it because there's some quality games on there that I want. Even the Mega Man collections,
Yep.
I love Mega Man.
It's so fucking hard.
But like, but $200+, like that's a little bit more than I'd want to justify on something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I get you.
And it's like my PC at home currently can emulate all these things. So why would I
spend the cash when you don't have to?
I could just buy like a nice fight stick for $70.
Remember those TV plug and play things that would do basically the same thing? And it's like, well, why are we devoting that amount of money to?
Because that's what it is essentially, right?
Yeah.
It's a fancy one of those plug and play things.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I think it has Wi-Fi on board too, if I'm not mistaken. But
why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but we're kind of in this weird space.
Yeah.
I think the next big thing in the retro gaming console market is going to be the GameCube, and I think that's going to sell phenomenally.
That'd be big.
That's going to sell out. That's going to be instantaneous.
Yeah, this is the good shit on the GameCube, man.
There's a lot of shit, man. Are you kidding me? There's a lot of quality stuff on the GameCube.
Monkey Ball and fucking
Resident Evil.
DoorDash and not DoorDash.
Fighters,
Mario Dash,
Smash Brothers. Well, granted, you can play a lot of these titles on the Switch.
Yeah.
But still, though, that GameCube experience was a novelty.
Absolutely.
And
man, and a great remote. Everybody sleeps on the GameCube remote. The GameCube remote was absolutely comfortable.
It was pretty good.
Absolutely.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Party, the throwback ones, because they haven't made a good Mario Party in a couple of years.
I've heard. Yeah.
Shit. What were we talking about? Oh, so how do you think this thing's gonna sell? What's your prediction?
I think Capcom may be overestimating their customer loyalty. I think it's gonna do okay, but I think it's something that will get almost immediately price cut.
Here's what I think. I think this thing is gonna fly off the shelves first week.
Because
I think all your hardcore buddies are gonna get it immediately, and then it's gonna sit there and idle and waste. And then when Christmas rolls around, it's gonna drop $100-$120.
Yep.
And that might be worth justifying.
Absolutely.
Depending on how much you like goblins and ghouls and shit like that. That's on there.
Yeah.
But 200, man, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's half a console. You could buy an actual console that plays.
You could buy the
normal
discless Xbox One.
Dude, don't fucking get me started on that shit.
Interesting concept.
They're stupid.
We're definitely moving forward. It's an interesting concept, but is it going to work?
No, it's not because it's fucking stupid. Anyway.
Moving on.
So this is another highly anticipated thing. This is a big week for me, man. This is a gigantic week for me as far as like things that I want to see / play. All right. So this is going to be a full spoiler review. But before we get into the story of this beloved franchise of mine, Mortal Kombat 11, let's get into kind of like my overall thoughts on the game as a whole and mechanics and all that good stuff. So
I think it's needless to say the fighting style, mechanics, and the shit that goes into the gameplay value of this game is very well polished.
Absolutely.
It's a mirrored finish on this game.
Yep.
And there's been, I don't know, maybe a couple of small frame rate things that pissed me off, like frame data stuff, like small little bullshit things. Mm-hmm. This is probably the cleanest launch we've seen on a Mortal Kombat game to date.
Yeah.
This is, well, aside from, like Ultimate 3, where those games couldn't have problems, right?
Yeah.
The fighting is excellent.
Yep.
I think that this is also the most strategic Mortal Kombat we've gotten to date.
Yep.
Because especially a lot of the early iterations, it was get in, get out, repeat.
Yeah.
And the 3D era was learn your 8-button combo and fuck them up.
Yep.
And then sidestep. And then X was kind of in this weird grayish area where it was smart play, but it wasn't smart in the sense of smartphone. It was like a Razr flip phone.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've hit the first iPhone in what I would like to describe as the Mortal Kombat gameplay experience.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit lost in your analogy there.
Because think about it, the Razr flip phone was flashy.
Yeah.
It was concise, it was flashy, and it was purposeful.
Yeah.
Right? Everything in it kind of had a purpose. But people knew when you had a Razr because it didn't look like any other flip phone.
Yeah.
But now we've gotten to this point where the Apple iPhone, the first iPhone unveiled Mortal Kombat 11, where there's a lot more customization. There's a lot more intuitiveness. And there's a lot of good things that go into making MK11.
Okay.
You feel that in every aspect of the game.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it. So, like you said, gameplay-wise, that plays absolutely phenomenal. Not as flashy, like you mentioned. It's a little bit more of a thinking man's fighting game, as we mentioned in previous talks about it. I love the roster. I think they picked a great roster. I like the new characters. I can't tell you the last time I really cared about all the new characters like I did in this game.
They did a really good job, actually.
Every character feels distinct. I told you this, that in MKX, I could basically do well with anybody. Well, learn a couple of the bread and butter combos, and you'll do fine. This one, every character plays differently. Everybody has a different feel, and that's important because it makes you feel like the choice that you make is important, right? Right now, I'm leading sub because I always go sub first, and then I branch off. That's what I do. It feels phenomenal. Now, there's a couple of aspects that I also want to give them credit for. Their tutorial mode, what they got, is extremely intuitive. It's extremely educational. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll do that, and you'll learn.
Boot the game up, do that first.
And if you're a vet who maybe not be so crazy about frame data, you'll be educated on that as well. They have a full-blown tutorial on freaking frame data. Like, who would have thought we would get to that point?
Think about this. I believe the MKX tutorial was punch, kick, simple combo,
dash,
special
run,
move, X-ray.
Yeah,
and that was it.
Yeah, and we got to this point where it's teaching you like the inside and out of these games. I think it's wonderfully done. I think they did a great job. They also are explaining characters, how each character, like I said, how they're different from each other, and how what moves are safe, and what these things do, and what amplifying it can do, and the possibilities with all these characters. Extremely intuitive, beautiful, well done. They did a great job. Now, this is where we start to get into some of the more controversial situations.
So here's the thing. I gotta like preface this. If you enjoy Mortal Kombat for the fighting aspect, by all means you should get this game. And even if you do look forward to the story, I think you should still get the game because the multiplayer experience, like I said, is a mirror finish. And this is pretty damn close to an ideal Mortal Kombat gaming experience.
Yeah.
Now let's kind of talk about what's crap about this game.
So, we got into the story, right? I played it, I finished it, I got through it. There's some things I want to talk about.
Sure.
Overall, I had fun with it, right?
It was okay.
It was okay. I think, there's just some little nitpicky things that just don't sit well with me as far as to the story.
This story felt like the writing team was given like a group project, and they got divided up into like 5 or 6 subgroups, and each group did a piece of the story, but in the end, none of it mattered.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what the story feels like. Because are we doing this spoiler free, or are we going
full spoiler? So if you haven't played the story from Mortal Kombat 11,
you care about
and you care about it, don't listen any further.
So here's my thing. We spoke about this lightly. The individual stories were really well done and really well crafted because we got a lot of character in. I particularly liked Kotal Kahn's story with Jade. That was phenomenal. He felt like a real fucking character, not just the Shao Kahn green alien ripoff, right? He had character. That was great. Hanzo Hazashi Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Monumental MK moment.
Absolutely.
And there was a lot of like little itty bitty tidbit stuff, like the whole future and past Jax doing the whole punch thing. There was a lot of good details.
Absolutely.
But I feel like we got so caught up in the details of the story that the overarching message or the grandiose of it, like the big picture stuff, was like flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
Because what this story does is this is a retelling of Armageddon, really, at the end of the day. Because world's in danger, Kronika comes down, and she decides to intervene in the MK2 tournament and
Merged 2 times. Yeah.
merge. Okay, so essentially what we get is Liu Kang becomes the poster boy again, which I hate because he's pretty much been it for like the longest. He has the longest running streak.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was dead, I feel like he was the poster boy.
Yeah.
You know? But MKX left us on such a somber note. MKX story felt like The Empire Strikes Back, where like you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
You know? And so we thought the Kombat kids were going to play a much bigger role in this story.
And half of them are not even in the game.
And half of them are not even in the game. And it's just this weird feeling I have. Well, essentially, let me wrap up big picture stuff. If you gave a shit in the past 2 games, don't, because it doesn't matter. Because the canonical storyline here is that Liu Kang and Kitana now shape history however they want it to.
Yeah.
So we get a retelling of Armageddon, MK9, that kind of weird in-between era where they go back into the past and they fix everything.
Yeah.
But the long story short is they can't really fix every little nitpicky thing because humans are greedy, Outworld are assholes, and they fix most of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that wraps all the way back around to the original timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dude, I told you it was going to be a total cop-out.
Yeah.
We were speculating for this game.
There's some issues. I mean, obviously I'm going to talk about the highlights first. Because like you said, the Jax thing was incredibly interesting because as a perspective of a father, right, I understand Jax's mentality and why he joined Chronica in the first place, right? Because you want better for your kids. He went through enough shit. He decided that he didn't want his daughter to go through that. So he was totally okay with resetting time. I get it. But another thing, the death of Sonya Blade, fucking fantastic,
yeah.
Beautiful, well done, right? Johnny Cage's his story arc. You could see the total contrast between old Johnny and young Johnny.
Wonderful, beautiful.
Yeah, such a great job with that. Like you said, Hanzo's death, fucking phenomenal. The relationship between Hanzo and Sub-Zero, like they're like best friends. Who would ever thought we would ever come across a point in Mortal Kombat storytelling history where Sub-Zero and Scorpion are friends? Fucking mind blowing, right? However, I don't like the fact that Liu Kang's the guy. Again, right? It's the easiest fuck. Why? Okay, why is he special? Why is he the chosen one? Somebody tell me. Why?
Because Ed Boon wrote it, so.
Exactly. Absolutely. Why? There's no point. Like, I never feel like Liu Kang rises above Kung Lao. Ever. Under any circumstances, right? It's just because it was written as such, right? And the Revenant thing. Okay.
Oh, man.
This was something that irritated me with X. I didn't like the whole Revenant thing. I get it, right? But it's lazy. Because the Revenants, because a good bad guy makes sense, and it pisses you off that he makes sense, right? You're like, man, he makes some good points, but fuck, I don't like him, right? That's a good bad guy. The Revenants don't make sense, ever, under any circumstances. I mentioned this to you earlier in the week. Kung Lao's like, fuck Raiden. Raiden's the reason why I died. Meanwhile, he's siding with Shao Kahn, who's actually the dude who snapped his fucking neck.
There's just no winning.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, even then, the Revenants, in a storyboard perspective, they don't allow for like risks to feel anything because like, oh, if he dies, he's gonna come back as a Revenant.
Yeah,
that was my main complaint with X. So it's like the Revenants didn't really need to be here.
Yeah,
you could have had a couple of them.
Yeah,
don't resurrect everybody because then everybody's safe again.
Yeah. What else? There's a couple other things. Another comment Jade made in the game, right? Jade said to Jax, "Oh man, why I remember Shiva making quick work of you, bitch. She killed you too. What the fuck are you talking about?" Bitch, you were there.
People are misremembering, man.
You were there. You died. I saw it. Okay. So what the fuck are you talking about? That's another thing. What else? Half of the other Revenants just disappeared. Where's
It was just like an X, right? Like in 9, we have the Revenant set up, and then it's like, oh, well, Sindel. Oh yeah, she gets a 5-second little cutscene.
Yeah.
And then what?
What happened to Sindel? What happened to Stryker? What happened to oh my god, who else is something in my brain at the moment? There's a few of them that's just like, what happened to them? You don't know. I don't know. These people just disappear.
They got written off in a side story.
Yeah, and that type of thing, man. It's so they have them there just because they want to have the look at it, old me, you me kind of a thing. Which fine, whatever. But it's lazy. I don't like the whole Revenant thing. I've never liked it, and this game just proves it forward. Why I don't fucking like it.
Even then, the way they treated characters like Kenshi and Takeda, how they're just written off on the side. And
well, have you seen the crypt?
I have not seen the crypt. No.
We actually find Kenshi in the crypt.
Oh yeah.
He dead AF. He dead AF. They don't explain how, but he's dead. We know that. And Ermac, same deal. Ermac just flying off a fucking the pit stage. He's on a spike, and you're like, well, that's Ermac. And first off, He looks great. It's probably the best Ermac's ever looked, and he fucking is on a spike, and that's the extent of it. You probably be DLC. But that's besides the point. All right. However, I want to kind of try to go reel it around. I don't know if I'm just like if my bias is just like over the top. I don't know. You could tell me. But outside of that, there's some good moments. Katana becoming Khan of Outworld.
Phenomenal.
Fucking
doesn't
dope.
Matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. You're right.
Phenomenal. It was wow. It was one of those moments where I was like, great, now Katana has to beat the shit out of Kotal Kahn. And kind of coming back to that, because he really impressed me in this game. He was like, no, you deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm stepping down as Khan.
Yeah.
And we got Katana Khan, which was insanity. Like, who saw this coming? You know?
I like the fact that Baraka kind of turned around and became kind of a gutty-eyed near the end, because at the end of the day, he's all about his survival of his people, right?
He's kind of in that weird gray zone too, man.
Yeah. He's all about the betterment of his people, because that's what a leader does. That's why I liked Baraka in this game as a character. Last game, it was just like, well, he's just a mindless puppet for Melina, and then so he got killed by Devora. All right. Devora, I thought, was pretty well fleshed out.
Yeah,
I think
a lot better.
I liked how they gave her tentacles like out and about now, as opposed to just having it during her special moves. What else? There were some other.
Aaron Black's character was holy shit.
Yeah,
really well done.
Yeah, that whole thing where
he felt like you've ever had like really good like black coffee at 5 a.m. That's what Aaron Black's character felt like.
Yeah, I like the whole story with Kano and the two Kanos. They were kind of funny.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they were kind of funny. But with that, the biggest cardinal sin, about this whole thing, the whole story thing, and why it just pissed me off. So it is established in the story that if you kill the younger self, the older self dies, right?
Makes sense.
They had a situation where Johnny got shot in the face, and then he got a scar on his face. He's like, "Oh, that's Freaky Like Friday," which is a great line. He's like, "He shot my face." That whole thing, that was a great thing, right? Kano gets shot in the head. He dies. Makes sense, right? And then even Sony's like, "Oh, the rules. You remind me of the rules." Okay. Then they proceed, like 2 chapters later, to violate that rule by having Revenant Liu Kang steal current Liu Kang's soul, which should effectively kill himself, because older Liu Kang is dead, or younger Liu Kang is dead. But he comes Mega Liu Kang, and essentially what happens is that he merges with Raiden. I guess they don't really explain how that and why that happened.
Raiden gives his god powers to Liu Kang. Is my understanding of it.
But physical Raiden disappears.
Right, for that time being. I'm not opposed to having Liu Kang as the Earthrealm Defender. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I just think that having him as the last resort and here's the surprise. Mm-hmm. I think that's the garbage part of it. Because it makes kind of sense to have him be an elder god, really, at this point, you know? Yeah. It makes total sense. And now we can take him out of the damn game because he's upstairs with all the other elder gods.
Absolutely. So that whole thing didn't make any sense to me. It was a big cop-out. Now, I will say, kind of that precursor to the ultimate battle between the Netherrealm forces and the United Outworld and that whole Linkway and all that was awesome. A lot of the in-game cinematics or the game cinematics was fucking awesome. Like a lot of those fight scenes,
really well done. Yeah,
the most epic fucking fist pump of all time when fucking the two Jaxes fucking fist pumping in between the dude's head.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was fucking cool. There's a lot of cool CGI moments, especially with like Jackie and all that good stuff. Jackie got a little bit more character in this game too. It's
absolutely
fucking phenomenal. It's just the story. It, like you said, at the end of the day, it's another reset button.
It's if you poured your heart into like a paper that you were writing for school, and the teacher just took it and shredded it in front of your face. That's exactly what happened in this game.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
It sucks because really, if Liu Kang didn't reset time, I think most of our issues would have been resolved, aside from a couple of smaller plot holes.
Yeah.
Right? It would make sense, and it would be good to take risks. And that's my thing with Mortal Kombat. Because they used to make wild, wacky characters like Meat that made no fucking sense. They were just like, fuck it, toss them in. Mocap.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat used to take risks. Some of them paid off. A lot of them didn't.
Yeah.
And now, so they've become scared. NetherRealm Studio
story
team has become of risks.
Absolutely.
So now we've had 3 games. The first 2 stories were pretty good in the grand scheme of things. They were pretty solid. Like I said, small plot holes, but you're going to get that with games like this. And when everybody has their own ending, you can get fucking plot holes everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then this hit the reset button, and I feel like we just got this.
Absolutely. So that was part of the problem. Another thing that I thought was kind of funny, because ultimately what Chronica's trying to do is balance, right? She wants to balance the whole universe, right? Meanwhile, she's creating armies of her little army.
She's tipping the scales.
Yeah, she's tipping the scales towards the side of evil, But like, if she's all about balance, then why is the Black Dragon? Why is Noob Snybot? Why does the Chikunin? Why does Frost get her own thing? Why do all these people get their own fucking squad? Meanwhile, the Earthrealm forces, they're like, well,
it's the 9 of us.
And not even just that, they took away Raiden. Like, her whole thing's like, oh, I want to erase Raiden from history, which is like extremely fucking cop out. Raiden's like, well, I exist outside the fucking laws of time. Why? Since when? Because if you existed outside the laws of time, in 9, you were able to go back in time and tell yourself, you would know exactly what happened and tell exactly what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, why didn't he just go back in time again to MK9? And then we could have gotten, NRS could have re-released MK9 and profited off of us even more. Yeah, we're at this kind of weird stalemate. It's stupid. And it doesn't even make sense because you could have said the Jinsei amulet gave him that. No, because she runs to before that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It just doesn't make any sense. And then, like, because obviously 9 was so focused on this little amulet, this broken amulet that would continue to break as the courses would go about its way. What Raiden didn't have the amulet on him at all, and we're to believe that this magical amulet.
I don't think we saw it outside the prologue.
Yeah, we're to believe that this magical amulet that Shinnok has is like the source of all evil. Why? Don't know. Never explained that to us. And another thing, like I said, she's all about balance, right? So she has Centurion, who is like the virtue in life, and Shinnok, who is her brother, I guess, is supposed to be death and destruction. Fair enough. All right. If those are the balances, you can't have one without the other. Fine. But here's the problem. Shinnok is dead, right? When Centurion dies, the world's balanced.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
She got in way over her head, and it was. I think some of the end stories explain that, like, the sands of time corrupt people. And I think that's kind of what came to be with Chronica, which is okay as an explanation, but that's really it.
But it makes sense if it's somebody who
was not in that position always.
Yeah, who is not always in that position. It doesn't make any sense when somebody who is literally their sole purpose is to create this thing, or is to be the keeper of these things, and it just doesn't make any sense. And then they go about, this has happened multiple times, and at the end of the day, it's always Liu Kang versus Raiden, and this is the problem, and this is why we always fail. Or
this feels like the DC hard reset on the New 52. It didn't really need to be there, and that's it. That's what it is. It serves no purpose other than, hey, in the next game we could do something different. Whereas opposed to having a better contingent storyline between multiple games. And it just feels like a cop-out. It honest to God does at the end of the day. Because how are you going to continue this story? MK9 set it up, or I'm sorry, MKX set up this crazy, like, oh my God, what the fuck's going to happen? Raiden's evil. And now this game said,
yeah, for like 20 minutes. And then, yeah, there's that. And another rule about the whole time thing and the gods and how they apply outside of it. So Raiden lives outside of the laws of time, but the elder gods don't. They died. They were killed, which we didn't see. Weird to believe that the elder gods got killed. They exist outside the laws of time too? Aren't elder gods?
What's so special about Raiden?
Historically more powerful than normal gods, right? I mean, there's just some stuff in there. It just didn't make any fucking sense.
At what point was this decided that he exists outside the laws of time? Because if that was so,
like I said, 9 wouldn't have been a thing. He would go back in time as himself and change the course of history then, as opposed to giving himself subtle hints with these fucking visions, right? That don't really equate.
Scratch that. Even if he didn't have the ability to time travel, Raiden would just be stuck in this infinite loop of plow through original timeline, send himself back, second timeline, plow through Chronica, rinse and repeat. It'd just be a consistent loop of Raiden going back in time to say, don't fuck up. And it doesn't make any sense. It's literally an infinite loop between the 3 times. You just jump through 3 of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just
it's the story was honestly like a C- because all the good redeeming stuff in the story, and there was a nice chunk of it. There really was.
The Frost being in it was fucking dope. Like a lot.
Oh, dude, Cyberlink Quake Clan, phenomenal.
Yeah,
that's probably the coolest choice they've made since including Cyrax and Sector in the game. Honestly,
yeah.
Phenomenal choice. Like I said, Kotal Kahn Jade, great storyline. Shao Kahn got a lot more personality. He just doesn't, he's not Kurt Angle anymore. You suck throwing a beer at you. Well, it's a hammer in this case.
Yeah.
A lot of these characters felt fleshed out. All the mini stories leading up to the big one were so good.
That's
man.
so weird, isn't it?
It felt like everything Mortal Kombat's come up to at this point.
Yeah.
And it felt like a good culmination of, like you said, Scorpion, Sub-Zero. Who thought they'd be friends now? And it's not even the first iterations of either character. It's not It's not Hebo or
Bihan.
Bihan. There we go. I always get the two letters mixed. It's not even Bihan or the first iteration
Hebo.
of Hansen. You know, it's like the second wave of Scorpion and Sub-Zero that are correcting the mistakes of their ancestors, really. You know, and it's so beautiful, the storyline and going through it, but it doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Yeah.
And that is garbage.
Yeah. And you think somebody who was able, like Kronika, for example, who was able to bring back Shao Kahn and all these people, why don't you just bring back Shinnok? Why not just prevent the death of Shinnok and allow time to continue to roll on? Because like if it's so important that Centurion and Shinnok exist, why don't we just go to the point where Shinnok dies and fix that, and just have them?
Because they defeat him again.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, but that's flawed logic. Really.
And her Kronika as a villain, she's not intimidating at all in any way, shape, or form. She looks like a fucking creepy child half the time when she got her stupid smile on her fucking face. As a villain, don't like her.
Why not rewind time back to Deadly Alliance and prevent Liu Kang from being killed? Right? Because that's what shifted Outworld. That's what tipped Outworld into the favor. And then you could have prevented the original Armageddon.
Yeah.
Right? Why not just go back to the very first thing that fucked shit up? Because MK123 Earthrealm all won.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. 4. So
1, 2,
that's
3,
4
4
tournaments.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then Deadly Alliance is when Outworld started pushing back and they started playing dirty. Why not?
But isn't that balance though? Like it doesn't even have to. Like it and also
right. But because Liu Kang died, Onaga came back and Blaze came back and then Armageddon. So evil eventually won. Why not just not kill Liu Kang and keep the struggle going? You know,
the ultimate tug of war.
The ultimate tug of war. Some years they win, other years they win.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't get it.
And it sucks. Although I will say this, a lot of the individual character tower endings are really good.
Yeah.
I would say a good chunk of them are really good. The ones that stood out to me, Johnny, Jackie, Aaron, Kano was fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those were fucking phenomenal endings.
I liked Sonya. Sonya's was fucking great too.
Oh yeah, I thought the artwork for that. She essentially beats the shit out of Cthulhu, really. But those were great. And I think those were redeeming for a lot of the characters. Like, I texted you. I was like, dude, my parents did not sign this permission slip for this field strip for Jackie's fucking thing. I was like, oh, my God. This game's brutal, but that was devastating.
Yeah. When she's like, goodbye, Dad. And it's just so sad.
Oh, yeah. Man. She made a good point, though.
But ultimately, like, that would puts Jackie, like, up there as far as, like, good
character stories.
Good character stories and good guys. Because ultimately, she put herself aside for the betterment of her father.
Yeah, really.
And it makes her like one of the best good guys of the whole franchise. And who would have thought after X that we would be saying that Jackie Briggs is potentially one of the best good guys we have? You know what I mean? Who thought that?
Insanity, right?
Yeah. That and the fucking, I get it. People didn't like Cassie being the winner at the end. I fucking love Cassie. And she was just kind of pushed to the side near the end.
She was such a minor character.
It pisses me off.
It felt like she would be the new face of the game.
Absolutely.
The new Liu Kang, the new poster kid. And I was ready for that transition. I was fully embraced for it because she was the main character of 9. Of X, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. And instead we reverted back to...
And not only did we just revert back to that, but she's the first character you play in the story. And then they have some good moments with her and her mom. But by the final act, all the cages are gone. Where's Sonya in the final act? Where's Johnny in the final act? Where's Cassie? Like,
nowhere to be found.
Well, Cassie's shooting people, but,
that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
MK. Are you kidding me?
They should have had, like, a situation where maybe I would even accept the multiple champions from multiple tournaments coming together, like, where they all merge into, like, one epic being where it would be, like, 9 Liu Kangs and a Cassie. You know what I mean? And I don't know, dude. I mean, there's just some...
They could have had a really good story moment where the cages get surrounded by Outworld forces and they got to work together.
Yeah.
That would have been total fan tribute, but whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, dude.
Listen, I think the final verdict, we've ranted for this for like a good chunk
Actually,
of
I
time.
do have something else to address.
Go ahead.
After the story. Well, the story.
The gear.
Yeah, this is another area of contention for this game.
So we feel strongly about the story and we hate it. I think that's fair to say. we not the individual pieces, the sum of the parts.
It's because, like you said, you nailed it on the head. These individual stories are just so much fun to play through, but by the end, you're like, who cares? Oh, because it's just a reset. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. So let's talk about the gear.
Yeah.
So
it's rough.
It's an issue. It's a severe issue. Okay.
And it's supposedly being addressed by Boone, NetherRealm, and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But the way it's presented currently upon launch It's clearly made for you to spend your money. You had a chat with our buddy Mr. Parker right before we rolled this thing. Hey man, how do I unlock new skins? Well, it just kind of happens.
Yeah,
you gotta grind for them crystals.
Yeah,
and it's really rough, dude. These skins are in no way, shape, or form easily accessible.
I saw a couple of things about it. Somebody's like, this game looked like it was designed for loot boxes, and then last minute they decided to rip them out and didn't have a real way of replacing them. I do see that, but there's two trains of thought with this. In the last Mortal Kombat game, people complained that you were able to unlock the crypt with $20, right? People complained about it.
I think it was 30, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you got everything.
Yeah. People had issue with that. So ultimately, this is the problem. People don't like the fact that you got to grind for this stuff. People want all their stuff immediately. Meanwhile, those are the same people who complained that they were able to buy the whole crypt. So there's no winning with that. However, I do agree with the fact that these things take too long to earn. They need to make it more accessible. The Tower of Times are garbage right now. They're too difficult. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of these towers have multipliers on them or modifiers.
That you need high level gear for.
It's not even just that. It's these modifiers don't make the game unplayable. Because it's not fun. It stops being fun when you have something projecting you to the other side of the screen because the modifier says it does. I was getting hit with sector missiles fucking constantly. Every 4 seconds, those things fucking regenerate. Dude, there's just, as far as the gear aspect of it, they need to do a lot of fucking work because honestly, Gabe,
it's unplayable. Towers are unplayable.
It's not even just that. I think I prefer the loot boxes.
That's and that's coming from you.
Coming from me. I prefer to get random shit that I know at least I'm gonna get something cool. Because like in the gold loot boxes, the mother boxes, and fucking Injustice, you know you're gonna get something cool at least. Here, some of the chests, because I let my wife go through the crypt because it gives me a headache. It gives me motion sickness because it's so fucking wonky with the way you turn and shit. I let my wife go through it. There's chests that cost like 11,000 coins. They don't give you shit. They give you consumables. It's a very like mobile kind of vibe to a AAA title. They like I said, I felt like they wanted to have loot boxes. The whole thing with fucking Battlefront happened, and people were like, okay, no loot boxes moving forward. And they didn't have a real way of replacing it.
I don't even think it was Battlefront. I think people realized what the fuck was going on with this game, and somebody brought it up on Combat Cast, and Edwin was like, oh, wait. Mm-hmm. And
I don't know.
It's really janky right now.
Yeah.
That said, ranked matches are in its kind of own playing field right now. Anything to do with gear, time towers, daily towers, just challenges. Oh, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is really rough.
Yeah.
And I told you, I expressed my worries about this whole loot box situation and the gear thing. And I hate to say it, but I think a lot of what I said came true.
Yeah.
At least for the time being. On launch, this shit is rough around the edges. Like, severely, like, fucking cut your fingers rough.
Yeah. It's like, well, fine. We're just going to replace that with grinding. And granted, you can't spend money on stuff, but there's no direct path to the shit that you want.
No.
Because usually, if it's not in the store that refreshes, right? They have like a new set of gear, a set of 5 for random people for every 8 hours or whatever. If you like, I want that skin, I would be more appreciative if they just let me buy it straight up.
If you just spent the $3 on the skin hands out,
I'd rather do that.
Do it like Smite does it. Do people not realize that Smite has arguably one of the best systems for this stuff?
I guess not. I don't know.
If you can't outright buy your seasonal or lower level skin in the character page, your loot box tells you the odds of getting it, and there's no duplicates.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just the way around it. It's ridiculous. They haven't decided what they're gonna do yet. And basically what their answer is like, well, we're just going to increase the amount of coins you get and stuff like that, amount of currency.
That doesn't solve the big issue.
Because there's fucking 4 types of currency in this game. There's the stupid fucking coins. There's the souls, the soul fragments, the hearts, which are hard to get. You only get 1 for every fatality, and it takes 300 to open up a chest. Do that math. And the time crystals. And the time crystals, every level up, you get some coins or some crystals. They have to figure out what they're going to do with it, and they better figure out soon because everybody's saying, oh, my God, it feels so good. One of the best feeling Mortal Kombats of all time. But this exists, and that's a problem. So that's like that's why this game is kind of getting slapped around a little bit on like Reddit and shit like that because people are upset.
This game is a box of mixed stuff.
Yeah.
You don't know whether you're going to pull out some cute-ass cat or you're going to get stung by a fucking viper or some shit in there. And it's really unfortunate because we said the gameplay is great.
Yep.
Keep it simple. I said keep the cosmetics as fucking cosmetics because you can't go wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, if you can't get a cosmetic, then you either buy it or you say, fuck it, it's not really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth that grind.
Yep.
And that's fine.
I don't think I have any augments at all, by the way. Because they're like, oh, okay,
how many hours you got in it? Like 12?
Probably, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I beat the story. It took me like 4 hours to do that. I've been playing online a little bit, been in the lab a lot. I haven't got any augments for anybody.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and like the whole thing, like, well, the augments were meant to help you through the tower. I'm okay with that, but you have to give them out. You can't just fucking keep them to yourself and be like, well, good luck at the towers. Meanwhile, here's a fucking sector mister, a Cyrex bomb, Sub-Zero's throwing a fucking frost at you. Oh yeah, and my personal favorite, this is fucking one that I came across last night, is if the opposing player's on the ground, it like charges this earthquake thing that does damage. So
what the fuck is that?
So you have to like jump at the right time even when you don't want to. And by the way, this is Noob Saibot, who has probably the best anti-air in the fucking game. You try jumping with that.
Yeah.
Poof. Combo. You're in trouble.
Here's the thing with those modifiers. They were fun if you were bored in MKX.
Absolutely.
They were fun if you wanted some dumb shit to do with your buddies,
Mm-hmm.
or if you were playing one of those like Christmas Easter towers. You know, those like event towers that like, hey, we don't do this all the time, but this is like a modified tower. Play through it.
Have fun. Yeah.
That was fun because it wasn't in your face every time. And even with the towers, you got your option of daily, weekly, monthly, challenge tower.
Yeah.
Right? You had a way out if you didn't want to do that for the skin, the card, whatever the fuck it was you got.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But this is just so in your face, blatant, ridiculous that it's like, well, can we not play Mortal Kombat without these modifiers now? It feels like that's just the way they're pushing it.
And it breaks the game. It's one thing if the modifiers added a layer. Some of the shit's flat out unplayable.
Yeah. I fucking hate the Cyrex bombs. And this is just some of the garbage from X. Sometimes there'd be Sub-Zero shit, the frost balls that come out.
The fucking reptile bloop, the gloop thingies. Oh god, dude, it's
rough. It really is rough.
So, I'd rather this with the towers and the rotating towers. I'd rather have a system like Injustice where the person just has a shit ton of health. Beat them. You have your normal health. They have 6 times the health of you. Just beat them. I'd rather have it be like that than having these stupid fucking constant modifiers that just play out. Sucks.
And most importantly, it takes away the validity of a tower. Because when you saw the leaderboards for the tower and you saw how many points they accumulated, how long it took them, you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And it felt like I need to come close to that number, whatever it is that they got. But now it's like, well, they probably got lucky.
Yeah.
They probably got much better modifiers, or those modifiers work better in their favor.
Yep. Easier to deal with. I don't know, dude. So, overall, I mean, as a gameplay, it's a fucking A. But with a lot of the story, like you said, like a C at best. And with some of the decisions that they made, it's like a D. I don't know, dude. I don't have a grade for it yet. I'm going to continue to play. I love the online. It's fucking silky smooth. Feels fucking fantastic. Did a great job with it. It's just there's a lot of the extra stuff that's making it very difficult to deal with this game. What happened to the situation where you were able to do your classic tower and get a skin? Doesn't have to be the nicest skin in the world, but something. You don't even get anything.
It was a reward.
Yeah. Well, you don't even get anything for completing your classic tower with a character anymore. Like, what the fuck is
your
that?
ending, but
Yeah.
I guess that's nothing 30 seconds on
Yeah,
YouTube can't
YouTube fix that, yeah. And I don't know, dude. There's some stuff in there that I wish they would fix. But I think we went on long enough about this.
It was a big release. It really was.
Yeah,
and
so
I think the longevity of this game is not going to be dependent on necessarily the fighting mechanics or the content. I think it's going to be how NRS and Warner Brothers addresses these crippling issues, honestly. Because easy fatalities in MKX were, on the surface, a good idea. Really a cop-out, because if you're playing MKX and you're pulling off fatalities, you got to learn it.
Yeah.
And the whole crypt thing, I didn't like it, but on one facet, if you don't got that time, drop the $30, man, you know? On the other hand, if you do got the time, just grind through it. It's not like it's random. If you want something specific, the crypt fucking layout came out like 2 weeks later. Just wait.
Yeah, but it's all randomized now.
But it's all randomized now, so
Yeah.
it's not like anything matters.
Yeah.
And it was a good Mortal Kombat release, but it was a bad Mortal Kombat release.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. Maybe we need to send a message to our past selves from 10 years ago to warn us what's going to happen with MK11.
How about we just say fuck it and get Chronica's thing and just reset the timeline altogether so Mortal Kombat doesn't exist? Oh, yeah.
Well, wait, hang on. Won't that erase us?
Yes, me at least.
Moving on.
Yeah, this is you.
That being said, though, if you enjoy Mortal Kombat, you should get it for the gameplay.
Don't expect to get any skins. It's not gonna fucking happen.
Honestly, dude, when September rolls around, $40. That's what my prediction is.
It's at 50 right now.
Oh, is that 50 right now?
Amazon got it at 50 right now. They got. I guess they're matched the deal online. So if you wanted to get it for 50, you can get it for 50 right now.
Yeah, man. Maybe wait a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe wait a bit. And that's without even going into the issues that the Nintendo Switch had.
Oh, it had issues. I didn't know.
It had a lot of issues, buddy. You need to be connected to the internet at all times to ever earn anything in game.
Oh, that's so fucking true.
And what is the Switch known for?
Fucking mobile.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even fucking think about that.
And that thing runs at 30 frames per second. Imagine your frame data. And I'm not saying you're going to have input lag. You're going to have some weird fucking frame data, though. Because this runs at 60 FPS. And if you have 60 frames running at the game per second, imagine your startup and your cooldown frame data. Imagine how that's going to translate into 30 FPS. It's not made to do that. And that's not even talking about graphical, fidelities, Which is fine. We expect that. But there's a lot of shit.
Oh man!
Right now,
because fucking every time you open up a chest, it connects us to the server to spit out your reward. If you're not connected to it, then what the fuck are you spending money on? Oh god, I didn't even think about that.
Whole new world of pain, my friend.
Fuck that. Moving along.
Whole new world of pain.
Moving along.
Let's talk some R6. I think you put this on here. Did you?
No.
Did I put this on here?
I don't know. It's a good game.
Rainbow Six. We've been kind of getting back into it, which is nice. I feel like a breather was much needed because there was a time in this podcast last year where we talked about it every week and how much we love Ubisoft.
It became the Mortal Kombat of last year was basically this game.
Well, we took a little break from it, came back to it with the 2 new operators and the new map. New map's fun. I got a little bit lost, but shit, man, you got to get lost in Rainbow Six to find your way, really.
Absolutely.
Mozzie and Gridlock are great.
Dude, I still get lost in the fucking old map sometimes, dude. What the fuck?
It's this kind of mentality of coming back to this game that has a high skill curve when you haven't played it in a while. You feel brand new again. And
Absolutely.
that was a little thrilling, honestly, because I was like, oh, I know this map, but can I remember all my inputs and can I be quick enough and shit like that?
Absolutely.
And they've been doing a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, they're great.
We'll get back to, I don't know why I put this on here, honestly. All right, so here's another big thing I want to cover. It's episode 115. This would have worked so beautifully last weekend because Jesus was a zombie, and we're going to talk about Call of Duty Zombies, and in the grand scheme of things. So I just wanted to take a moment. We have our thoughts and shit about Call of Duty, but in the 10 years ago, when Nazi zombies became kind of the forefront of the Call of Duty community, it was something genuinely new, interesting, innovative, and I just wanted to spend a little time talking about it. When was the first time you seriously dove into the Nazi zombie thing?
Seriously? I think we all played it at World at War because it was fun. But as far as the thing taking its life on its own, where I actually remember having a ton of fun with it, was 5. 5.
Was 5? You didn't like Kino?
Kino was cool. I liked Kino. I liked the aesthetic of it. That thing was fucking phenomenal. But I have the most fond memories on 5. I don't know why. I think because of the fucking box being in the president's room. I don't know what it was about 5. But as far as kind of realizing that this thing is kind of a big story and a lot of lore behind it, was 5. I think was probably the biggest.
I got you.
Moment.
Yeah. Well, same game. For me, it was Kino because when I first started playing Kino, me and my buddies, it was like, oh, cool, zombies, blah, blah, blah. But then you started seeing people post YouTube videos of you get the tape in the one room when you teleport out of the projection room, and then you plop it on there and it starts playing the story. Or hey, pick up a sniper and then shoot this weird trash can way off in the distance that you can't reach, and it'll play a thing. And I was like, there's a lot going on here. It's not the whole simple Varuk thing where it's 4 soldiers locked in, blah, blah, blah. It's like trying to be this big thing, this story of the map was bigger than the map itself, if that makes
Absolutely.
sense. And it was this kind of beautiful realization that me and my buddies came into after kind of piecing everything together, that we're like, I think we have something here. I think they're trying to make this mainstream. They're trying to mainline some zombies right now. And it was really cool, man. And you nailed it on the head. The aesthetic of Kino was so spot on perfect that I loved it. We would play that map for hours on end.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. I remember this one time we were playing and we beat our record. We were at we were at 39. We were about to beat it. We were going to roll into 40. And my buddy's on the other end arguing with his mom over some dumb shit. He hit his little brother or whatever, blah, 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 right? She's yelling at him. He's like, Mom, I'm playing Zombies. And so I got the one crawler left, so we could go get whatever we need to get. And I hear him cut out. And I was like, hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. And then it pops up on the screen disconnected, and I was like, no. And he texts me, he's like, my mom ripped the Xbox out of the wall, and we were one level away from beating like our personal records, you know. But there's a lot of fond memories that come out of it, and every once in a while I'll go back and re-listen to the zombie storyline because it's fascinating, you know.
Yeah.
And they do time travel in this sort of interesting way where there's 3 different groups going through this one massive timeline, and it's just super interesting, and I love what they've crafted.
What are they called? They're called like there's 3 different groups, and what are they called? They're called shits, because it's like the same group of people from different time periods.
Yeah.
What are they called? Because I watched it one time too. I'm like, I'm confused. But like, there's like a lot of good shit in there, man. Like you said, there's a lot of lore, and you could dig into stuff like that. And I like lore that you don't necessarily have, that doesn't beat you over the head, that you do a little bit of digging for. Now, there's the polar end of the spectrum where it's like Destiny, where none of the lore is up front, and you have to dig out all of it.
Well, Dark Souls is the same way, and I loved all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But it's the beauty of this lore for me is that it all makes sense and it wraps around. I love stories that, 1, follow their own rules. 2, that in the grand scheme of things it makes sense, and 3, man, dude, 3 is like a combination of the first 2 things I just said. But I just love how they're in this like rubber band of time, where it's like they can get to a point, and sometimes they change things, and the rubber band stretches a little bit, but at the end they're still going to loop around the same rubber band, and that's just so beautiful to me because they're in this endless cycle, blah blah blah.
And that's represented by the fact that a lot of those maps
come back around.
Yeah, they come back around,
like in Revelations.
Yeah, and it expands. Like you're able to go outside of the jail and shit like that, on Alcatraz and all that good stuff.
Lots of good stuff.
It wraps ball back around, and like with the whole Coliseum thing, with the new one, and the Titanic thing, which is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, the news story is pretty solid, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, and how it connects with Shadows of Evil, and how that aesthetically fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
I'm not the biggest zombie fan in the world. It was one of those situations where I was like, man, well, I got like 30 minutes. I don't really want to fucking play the pub stomp no more. Let's just fucking hop in some zombies and shoot until it's time for me to go. All right, cool. And then we would do that and for like a couple hours or so, and then, go to bed. All right, that was fun. Night. And then you just like, you know what? We'll go until I die. Okay. Fucking 20, 30, 40. You're like,
yeah. And then when you're not trying, you hit a new record. You're like, oh my God, we got to keep going.
Oh shit. You just keep going. And then it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then finally your buddy gets down. You're like, fuck. And you're like, all right, guys.
That's it. No mess.
See you guys.
There was something really beautiful about the way those early maps, those early levels was just so well balanced. Like on Kino, you had the Olympia, where it's like, well, do I spend a little extra money now and hold out in here for an extra 2 levels, or do we, like when we had our shit down, we had a system. We always got the top right door when you're looking towards the theater, and we just loop our way around the map like that. Mm-hmm. And it was like, yeah, dude, level 4, we book it. And then we hold it down in the next room with the stairs and the MP40. We hold it down there until like level 7. Then we book it. And then we hold it down on stage until like level 12 or until we can afford Jug. Flip on the power, grab Jug, and then we start training. And, it was like this beautiful thing that we had going. And Ascension, too, that we had like this whole schematic for Ascension. And it was just genuinely a lot of fun. And it sucks to see that maybe I'm not in there anymore, because we have our reservations about the new Call of Duty. But I think when we talk about what got you into Call of Duty, I think a lot of these younger kids are going to say, well, my older brother or my cousin or my uncle, whatever, they played Zombies. And then when they needed a second player, I'd hop in and we played Zombies. And now, I'm out here buying the yearly cycle.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it did nothing but wonderful things for the franchise as a whole, because it gave another set of people who may not have been interested in the cooperative or the competitive shooter, and it gave them something else to do. Something a little I don't want to say less serious, but something a
little different.
Yeah, something a little bit different, a little different flavor, and something that people were able to dedicate themselves. There was fucking channels dedicated to strictly zombies on YouTube.
There still are, man.
Yeah, Syndicate comes to mind. Like, these guys just fucking, all they did was zombies. Like, and not that they couldn't play competitively, but they just enjoyed kind of the strategy, and
they enjoyed the discovery, the new stuff that they could find in the world of zombies, new strats, new this and that.
Think about Shangri-La, like how intricate that was, and how many fucking different things it had going on in the background.
You know what I thought was intricate? I thought getting the song in Kino was intricate before everybody knew how to do it, because it was this big mystery. It's like, well, I heard the beer. What now?
Yeah.
But
answering the phones on fucking 5 and all that.
I think really we can sum this up in one sentence. I think it says a lot when both of us really, I didn't expect you to keep up on this Nazi zombie timeline, but I think it says a lot when we're not going out and buying these games, even if it's by the developer that does the mainline zombie storyline. but we're keeping up with the story on the side.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot.
Honestly, I think the most refreshing thing about the zombies recently was the World at War zombies because it was just so fucking brutal. You know what I mean? And then I had the jump scare and shit like that, and I liked it. I mean, I didn't dedicate a whole lot of time to it. I didn't dedicate a whole lot of time to World at War, or what's it called? World War II in general. But, I mean, I'm glad. Like I said, I think it's done nothing but good things for the franchise because it just added a different element and something that you could look at and have fun with. And I think that's the most important thing about these things because, that's why DLC exists. Eventually you get tired of the maps, you get tired of the guns, and you want to try something new. So instead of buying another game and playing that, they're like, well, here, fuck it. Here, have another zombie map, have another gun, have another map, and keep playing.
Yep. And that was, like I said, man, a lot of those early zombie maps. I had a buddy in high school who would literally stay home the Friday release of every new zombie map. His mom would call him in sick, and he's not coming in. We'd be like, hey, where's Jordan? And we're like, oh, yeah, the Call of Duty, the Annihilation DLC dropped today. And it's like, yep, he's at home. He's probably got it beat already.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, yeah, there's a lot of dedicated people out there, man. And I just want to take some time to kind of relive our past because that's been going on since World at War, which is 2010. So 9 years, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's more than that, dude.
10 years? When was World at War?
Let me Google. Let me go get it. Hit the Google machine. Hold on.
Hit that Google.
It had to be like 2008, dude. It'd have to be, right?
Oh, man.
Hold on.
He's Googling it.
World
He's Googling it.
Because, like, when did
Black Ops 1 come out? Was that 2010?
When did COD 4 come out?
That was 2008. COD 4 was 2008, no?
No, not the fucking game. Hello. Hold on, sorry. 2008, World at War came out.
2008, World at War came out. So COD 4 was 2007.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 11 years of zombie greatness that we've had. And, we've had our high points, like just the whole Kino Ascension 5 thing we described. And a lot of the Black Ops 2 maps were great. And the 1, the Giant, was great. And then we've had our low points with, like, the Infinite War zombies, where the storyline wasn't so cohesive. But
Nuketown was a little too.
Yeah. But you know what? That comes with trial and error. And I just want to take 10 minutes.
Well, first off, can we talk about Moon? Moon was
Moon was brutal.
Yeah, Moon was, yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, fucking Call of the Dead. Hello. You know what I mean?
Oh, with George Romero. Yeah, that was phenomenal too.
Yeah. So that was our little talk about that. Cool. That was fun.
So 2 weeks ago we mentioned that we got a little game coming up for you. I think we're gonna have some fun with this. Did you come up with any names?
What did I fucking? There was 2 or 3 that I came up with. Let me think. You can do yours.
So here's the game. We're coming up with title predictions for the new As I Lay Dying album, and the joke was that there seems to be a pattern in these songs. And so here's mine.
Okay.
It's a variation. These 2 are a variation of the same thing. So either A, a new man, or B, a new beginning.
Okay, no, that's fair. What was I called? What was it said? I saw something like Forgiven. If I think they already have a song called Forgiven, if I remember correctly. What is it? Fucking shit. Redemption. I'm sure that's gonna be a fucking song along the way. And I Found Jesus Again. No.
I Found Jesus Again. It's brutal.
But yeah, man, because obviously being what it is.
If they were like a more like a less traditional metalcore band, you could probably fit like weird wacky song titles in there, like "Never Trust Your Gym Partner because he's trying to steal your gains." Oh man.
Or Never Find a Hitman out of Craigslist or something like that. Some type of shit like that.
Oh man, yeah, maybe if they were Attack.
Yeah, right.
Good stuff. So we got 2 topics for the music stuff.
We do.
First of all, a lot of things I really enjoyed turned 20 this year. And so this is another one of those things where I'm going to take 5 minutes to talk about this.
What does LB mean, Gabe?
You're about to find out. I'm gonna rant about this a little bit. So 20 years ago, on April 19th, 1999, one of the greatest songs ever came out. And there's just this whirlwind fire force of saxophone, drum line, bass line, and just this rhythmic beauty that came out of LB. And it still astonishes me because this song holds its ground even to today. And it's one of those things where maybe we didn't appreciate it for the time being, and maybe we don't appreciate it now. And, Jacob's over there smiling. What are you smiling about?
What are you talking about, Gabe?
I'm, of course, talking about Mambo No. 5 by Lou Bega. It came out April 19th, 1999. The Whirlwind Triumphant Force by Granddaddy Master Lou Bega. And I thought it was fitting, man. I thought it was fitting because we didn't run it last week, but better late than never, That came on in the car. I was like, when did this come out? And it was like April 18th, and the thing said April 19th, 1999. I was like, oh, shit, we should probably talk about this. Think about it. We got a regular version and a Disney version. What other songs can you say that for? Stick Stickly? No.
Son of a bitch, Gabe. That was fucking stupid. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm very proud of myself, actually.
I'm like, what? Okay, I'm like, either it's gonna be one of two things. I'm like, either it's gonna be something ridiculous that it's gonna be way out in left field, where you went, or I'm like,
Which, yes.
yeah, I'm like, or is this Limp Bizkit? I'm like, I wonder. And then you're like, 1999. I'm like, oh shit, he's going Limp Bizkit, isn't he? No, okay, good,
Not
good,
going
good.
Limp Bizkit. We have this thing, me and my buddy Ahmad. We would play Infinite Warfare multiplayer because we found some joy in that. As it was in his dying throes, really. But we had this theory where if we just had Mambo Number 5 on a repeat for the whole time we played, we'd do better. And I shit you not, we went from like negative KDs to like 2 3.0 KDs in, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 loops of the song. We just kept it on all night. It's the trumpet, bro. It's the trumpet.
I know for a fact that Ponce fucking loves that song. He would talk about it like randomly. He would bring it up and like, because like Ponce was always like a nice guy. He always let me have control of the radio when he would give me a ride because he's just that kind of guy. And I'm like, Ponce, what's your favorite song? Like one day he's like, Mambo 5. I'm like, fucking. I'm like, you can't be serious. He's like, no, dude, I really do like it, bro. He's like, I just like the fact that he's talking about all these girls and stuff. I'm like, Ponce, stop it. So the fact you made like immediately I thought of Ponce because.
But let it sink in though. It's been 20 years since that song released.
I'm gonna break your heart with this game and saying that the Mambo 5 did not have the same profound impact on my life as it probably did on yours.
Okay, that's fine. It was always on those like Disney VHS previews though. Before the movie started.
No, you're right. Yeah, it was. I do want to talk about that list that you talked about earlier this week.
What list?
The Slipknot list. Do you have that?
Oh, somewhere. Oh man, where did that thing go?
I don't know. So as you dig it up, I'm gonna kind of describe. So basically, was it a magazine or?
It was it was I think Rockfeed that did it.
Yeah. So a music website basically took all the songs in the Slipknot discography.
Yeah, all of them.
Took all of them and ranked them. All right, from best to worst. Right. So I just kind of want to talk about.
Oh, it was. I'm sorry. It was Loudwire.
Loud, same difference. Loudwire breaks down all the songs from top to bottom. How many songs? They said there's 81.
There are 74.
74.
Which doesn't feel like that much for 6 albums worth.
You break it down like 12 albums a piece. 12 songs a piece.
Yeah, it just feels kind of light. I guess we're coming from. Well, our dads came from the age of 20 song albums.
This is true. So let's just talk about the top 5 and let's go through the bottom 5 because I'm interested in what the bottom 5 are.
Sure. Let's do bottom 5 first.
Okay.
So we're starting off at number 69, which I think is a good number. We already know what the last one is, and we talked about it, and it's well deserving of the last spot.
Absolutely.
If you could guess an album that 69, fifth from bottom is, what do you think it is?
The most recent, the Gray Chapter or whatever.
Yes, that's actually correct.
Yeah.
The song is 19. XIX.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
Yeah, it's number 69. I did not like this album.
I wasn't big on it either. There's a few songs that other than that.
Like, I like Custer. I didn't like it the way I liked some of the older shit.
Oh, yeah, it's not even close, yeah. The better songs were just okay on the album.
Oh, that is, you know what that is? That's painfully true.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about that.
The better songs were just okay.
Oh, man, that like hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Number 70 is off, and I will say that every song off this album ranked in the bottom half, except for one exception. All Hope Is Gone. Everything on here ranked bottom half except for Snuff.
Okay.
And I think Dead Memories got...
Sulfur didn't do well?
I'll run through this list again, but most of this shit is bottom half.
Really?
Most of this album is bottom half. So Butcher's Hook is number 70.
Okay.
I enjoyed the track.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
It's okay. I think it's still better than most of the stuff on the Gray Chapter, but I understand where it's coming from. Number 71 is actually a single off the Gray Chapter called Lech.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 72, Vendetta, All Hope Is Gone.
I liked Vendetta. I didn't think the Vendetta was that. I was really just thinking about that as you were talking about it.
Yeah. You think that'd be like mid-tier?
I mean, like...
I assumed it would have been mid-tier, yeah.
Lower quarter, but still not like bottom 5.
Yeah. Number 73, Wherein Lies Continue.
Son of a bitch. That's the other song I was going to... I love that riff to that song. Gum, 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 gum.
Yeah, that's tasty.
I fucking love that riff.
And 74 is Gehenna, the 8-minute PCP Corey Taylor thing.
Yeah, that was my joke, bastard.
Yeah, there you go. I beat you to it. But yeah, man, I just think a lot of these, like Child of Burning Time, which is essentially a B-side off of...
Probably the best song on the album, too. That's the sad thing about it.
You think so? I don't think it ranks above Dead Memories in my heart.
It's
in
like
my opinion.
On that song, on that particular album, it's probably top 3, and it's like you said, like a bonus
I think
track.
top 3 is fair. I don't think it ranks above Sulfur or Dead Memories, in my opinion.
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna try and find some of these other ones that you'd be like surprised to.
Wherein Lies? I fucking love that riff, dude. Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
god.
And like, okay, so granted, those like weird songs off Iowa, like Metabolic at 54, makes total sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense is how did this get above Wherein Lies Continue?
I don't know, dude.
Or you know,
There's some issues with that. We should do that one day. We should take a band's discography and fucking
and shred it.
not just shred it, but fucking list like favorite song, least favorite song. Here's all of them and rank them.
Yeah.
But we should probably do.
Till We Die got 48, and that's also off All Hope Is Gone. I didn't really like that song either.
It was okay. That was okay. I like the keys on it.
Sulfur got 45.
That's about halfway through. It's not so bad.
Yeah, sure.
Not so bad.
Gently Iowa got 43. What is up with that? What is with these like weird artsy pieces that Slipknot does that score higher?
Skin Ticket. Where's that at?
A Skin Ticket?
Yes.
I think that's pretty high up, if I'm being honest with
No,
you.
no, it's not.
Kill Pop is 40.
Okay.
Diluted off the OG 1999 album is 39. What the fuck? New Abortion. I'm actually surprised I got this low. New Abortion got 38.
That's about right, I think.
Yeah. Skin Ticket Iowa 36. Yeah.
Somebody was just
Iowa by Iowa got 35.
Isn't that song like 12 minutes long?
Yeah, something like that. What else we got that's like weird and oddball? Eeyore got 32. That song needs to be bumped way the fuck up.
That's like top 15 probably.
Opium of the People. I really like that track. I don't think it's better than Eeyore though.
Uh-uh.
That's off Volume 3.
Uh-uh.
Blister Exists got 30. I think that's a fair spot. People forget that that's a very phenomenal single.
Up. That
Dead Memories 29.
Okay.
So that is upper half. The Nameless 28. Another single everybody forgets about.
Left Behind. Where's Left Behind on that?
Oh, we're still plowing. All Hope Is Gone 27. That's an okay spot for
Oh, that needs to be down.
All Out Life got 26. That needs to be way lower too.
But that's new. How the fuck are you gonna say it's
Snuff 25.
That's fair.
Okay. Vermilion Part 2 is 24 and Part 1 is 23. I think that's a fair rating.
I mean, it's a fucking cop out to put them right next to each other, but whatever.
Everything Ends 22. I like the live version way better than the album version in my opinion, but Before I Forget is 21. Oh man, I'm
21.
Yeah. That's a really good Slipknot song too.
That's yeah, that should be top 10.
Yeah, but it's not.
Who made up this list? You're a fucking liar.
We're gonna go in and re-rank your list.
That sounds like that. You ever listen to Eminem's new album where he's talking about when he calls his manager and he's looking for the guy who reviewed his album on Yahoo? He's like, this motherfucker lives in Michigan and I think I know where he lives. I'm gonna go to his house. I'm gonna fucking kill him. There's that.
Leave it to Eminem for you, man. Yeah, I thought.
Go through the top 5 now.
Sure, absolutely. Let me scroll all the way up there. I think we reviewed top 5, and both of us were kind of surprised.
Well, first off, give your top 5.
My top 5 Slipknot songs. That's pretty rough. Duality is up there for me. I would say probably number 5. Eyeless is number 1.
Yeah.
So I got 1 and 5. Now what's in between?
Yeah.
I would say Sulfur, Dead Memories. Those two are bangers. Damn. This is a lot harder than I thought it'd be.
Oh, wait, because I think I gave you a list, did I not? I'm looking for that.
Oh, man. This My Plague is like probably my number 3.
It's up there, yeah.
It's kind of an oddball one, but I think I enjoyed it enough.
No, My Plague that was legit.
I think Psychosocial would probably make that cut. I'd have to sit down, revamp it, review the discography, but off the top of my head, those are my 5. What are your 5?
Eyeless?
Yeah,
no.
Such a banger.
Wait, hold on. No, People Equal Shit. Eyeless.
Mm-hmm.
Left
Behind got 12, by the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right. People Equal Shit. Disaster Piece.
Phenomenal.
Duality. And I think Psychosocial is probably 5.
Eyeless got ranked as number 6.
That's so wrong.
It should be like 1 or 2 on anybody's list.
Oh my god.
All right, so here are the actual top 5 that Loudwire ranked these at. Damn dude, like this. Number 1 is Duality. I think that's a strong contender, and I think that a lot of older Slipknot fans they're gonna have this in their top 5.
Honestly, dude, for me personally, on that album, I put Before I Forget and Vermilion and Blizzard Exist above Duality. I like Duality.
Yeah.
I think it's a great song, but
Number 2, Surfacing off the self-titled 1999 track. I think the guitar riff's tasty. I think it builds instrumentally very well, but there's just, I don't know, man. I like a lot of other tracks off the OG album aside from Surfacing, you know?
Where's Wait and Bleed?
Like 16. Well, let me double check. Number 3 is Heretic Anthem. Fair.
I don't like that.
Disaster Piece is 4.
Okay.
That's fair. I always thought Disaster Piece was underappreciated, but apparently a lot of people.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. No, you're like, oh,
maybe
man.
It's not underrated. And the People Equal Shit is 5. I think that's also fair. That should be number 1.
That's my number 1. Yeah, that's my number 1.
Yeah, I is 6.
I just fucking love it.
Pretty brutal, huh?
Yeah, we should do that. Maybe not like with band with like 6 songs, but
attack.
Yeah, maybe like three albums or something, and just do that discography. Maybe we'll look into that. We'll talk about it because we're basically replacing the 10-song setlist game because it's been off for a couple weeks, which I'm okay with. But
good
we
copy.
should find another game to take its place.
I got one more thing on this music docket.
Sure.
So at All Points East, which is like this festival, and I believe the UK, Bring the Horizons headlining it, and they're getting a 2-hour set list, and they said they're playing a lot of older goodies, so I thought that was cool. 2 hours is pretty brutal, but I'm assuming they're going to do what Every Time I Die did at the last to the season. They're just going to cycle through their discography with, I'm hoping they exclude This Is What the Edge of Your Seat was made for, because that is unlistenable. But yeah, I think they said they're going to play a lot of older stuff, and they're excited
can't pull it off anymore.
We don't know.
I do know. He sounds
horrible. Know. It's been 10 years.
He sounds like SpongeBob running across the garbage in the fucking Hashing Slasher episode.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see for the video of that to come out. I'm kind of curious to see what they pick, because there's a lot of stuff that has been left behind. Well, that's one. From There's a Hell.
There's never mind. That's more of a Linkin Park deep cut. I don't think you'd get that. Never mind. Move along.
I think they might have played it one time after we saw it, but there was a 10-year span where they didn't play anything off There Is a Hell. And then when we saw them Halloween 2016 in London, they played Crucify Me. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a really good song. But I'm telling you, it was like a big gap of time. Maybe not 10 years, maybe like 5 or 6 years.
Where
they haven't played anything off that album. And then suddenly this comes rolling out.
Well, because it has been 10 years since There's a Hell came out. So.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I think since like the start of the Sempiternal thing, they just kind of phased out all that stuff.
Yeah, because he has to sing. He's so good at it. He has to sing.
Good stuff. I got an album review next week from Keith Buckley's side project called The Damn Things. I want you to check it out. Got some interesting stuff on it.
Is it out?
Yeah, it came out Friday.
Okay.
And it should be fun. I like doing these joint reviews because there's a lot of things maybe I overlook, you overlook, and then we combine and, we got each other's backs type of shit. Just smacking myself with the boom shield.
Absolutely. So with that is episode 115 of the Second City Kids podcast. You can go ahead and like us on all your places that you like to find your podcast. We're basically on all of them. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel because my throat is running out of energy at this point. Yeah. So, yeah, right? So with that, check out Avengers, check out Mortal Kombat, and I guess check out all the damn things or whatever the fuck the name of the band is. I forget already. Check out the new EP, and then we'll talk about it next week. But until then, we'll see you next week. Deuces.